Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Mindset Live. This is a show about practical, real tools that you can use to end the torture of the psychological mind. It is me, your favorite host, Professor Nez. How are you guys doing? It's been so long. I miss you guys dearly. Hope everybody is doing well. Let me just do a little adjusting here of the camera. Fantastic. Get a little bit of that. Look at that beautiful painting in the background. Got the new studio, Nez Nation. Very excited. Let me know if you can hear me. I've got my live stream set up. It looks like we are doing really well. And just really quickly, once again, I am your host, Professor Nez. This is Mindset Live. This is a YouTube live show about real practical tools that you can implement to end the only thing that ever gets in your way, this dude right here, and how you can finally end that torture. Okay, hope you're doing really, really well. Today's episode, we're talking about the real university. The real university is the title of this show. And I think that what's really got me kind of pumped up, is that, it's always an interesting thing when another semester comes to a close, and it's just boggling how fast time is going, how fast everything is moving. If you have any questions, I want to go over just for like about 15 to maybe 18 minutes of just what I have to say, and then I'd love to take some questions. We've already got some people watching. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. So happy to see you. Please share this out on your social media channels if you wouldn't mind. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can always get notified when the next YouTube show, Mindset Live, gets broadcast. So, I just, talking about the semester, if you don't know who I am, I'm an author, storyteller at heart. I'm also a writing and communication professor at several universities in Orange County, California, and even outside of Orange County. And it's so unbelievably, almost unsettling, to be honest, how fast these semesters keep rolling by. We're already steamrolling into spring 2017. I'm already getting my syllabi. I'm already getting my roster, my textbooks, everything set for the next semester coming up, because this semester is literally almost over. We only got another couple weeks, if that. Some places end even sooner than that. And when you give your heart and soul to your students and you try so hard, you hope for the best. You hope for the best. And you want to feel like your class has impact. You want to feel that what you do has impact. You want to feel that the students are receptive. The students are getting something out of it. That it's something, at least for me, those of you Nez Nation, you know how I run my classes. You know how I conduct business. And I always want my courses to be way more than just a silly grade, way more than just a transcript. Hence the title of this Mindset Live episode, The Real University. The real learning happens after the final bell is rung. We don't even really have bells anymore. I don't know if they have bells anymore in high school. You have to let me know. But really, the real learning happens after that final exam, after classes have ended, after the semesters come to a close. That's where the real learning has to happen. That's where 16 weeks is not enough time. 8 weeks is not enough time. I know a lot of students are taking courses and sessions that are, quarterly or term or session oriented, 8 week, 10 week, 11 week. The typical semester is about 16, 17 weeks. That's just not enough time. The real university, the real learning happens outside of that box, outside of that time period. Did you get anything out of the class? Did you marinate on any of it? Was any of it digestive or digestible? Did anything really set in? Did anything really have an impact? I tell my students all the time, you have nothing to worry about, because the real university, whether you are paying attention or not, whether any of these concepts or any of these tools or any of these methodologies that we talk about in my class, whether they hit you or not, the real university is out there. The real university is life. The ultimate professor. The ultimate professor is life. No professor comes close. No teacher comes close than the ultimate professor, which is life. Life is the ultimate teacher. But you have to be open. So I want to talk about some tools. I want to talk about some things that you can use, that you can implement beyond the classroom, beyond just the typical, take the test, learn the chapters, read your books, read your texts, study the figures, study the metrics, study the concepts, and basically regurgitate them for a test, that you've been cramming for all evening. I'm not stupid. I'm not foolish. I remember what it was like being in college. I remember what it was like being 19, 25, 23. I remember what it was like. And, academics was not my top priority. Learning was not my top priority. Don't get me wrong, it was in there. Some of these universities are very expensive, and there's exceptions to every rule. But I think for the most part, 18 to 24-year-olds, their top priority is not how am I going to ingrain this learning so that I can apply it to a real adult life after I'm gone. What are we preparing you guys for? What are we getting you guys ready for? What are some tools that you can use that go beyond the box? When I say beyond the box, I mean the box of the classroom. I wish to God that I had some guidance beyond that. I feel for all the instructors. I feel for all the professors out there. My empathy lies with you. I understand what it's like. I understand, especially if you're an adjunct faculty, there is very little academic freedom. There's very little, collaborative sort of atmosphere or spirit, roaming the hallways and the offices of the admin. And you almost feel like you're on your own, and you almost feel like your job is in jeopardy every single semester. I feel for you. And so the motivation becomes not that of really true kind of bestowing of knowledge, if you will, or true kind of learning, but it just kind of becomes keeping up the status quo. But the status quo sucks. We all know the status quo sucks. We all know the status quo is subpar at best. There is a reason why the United States, the greatest nation on earth, right? It's the greatest nation on earth, right? There is a reason why the United States, the greatest nation on earth, we're not even in the top 10 for education. We're not even in the top 20. We're not even in the top 20 for education. Surely we've got to be in the top 30, right? Last I checked, we're barely eking into the top 30. That's no good. That's bad boogie. That is bad boogie, y'all. What's happening in our universities? What's happening in our classrooms? What's happening in our schoolrooms? What are we really showing you about the real world? What are we really teaching you about the real world? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I never cared that much about my grades when I was in college, even in postgraduate school. I never really cared that much. I wanted to be inspired. I wanted to be moved. You're all gonna die. Listen to this. Heed this call. Professor Nez, why are you being so dark? Why are you being so negative? Why are you being so brooding and oh my God, you're being so morose? Exact opposite. Exact opposite. Everybody you know right now is gonna die. You yourself, look at yourself in the mirror. You're going to die. And every second, that progression is getting closer. Every second, that day is getting closer. That's not to distress you. That's not to depress you. That's not to cause anxiety or panic. I want to ignite the fire in your belly. Go do something. You have to go out there and grab your learning. You have to go out there and grab anything that you want in this life. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody's going to give you anything. That's to ignite you. All right? There's a lot of, don't get me wrong, there's beautiful people out there. The majority of people out there are very, very helpful, benevolent, right? Humane. People who want to assist. People who genuinely care about you. Don't buy the hype in the news. Okay, the news is only 2%. The news is only 2% of the population. Don't buy the hype. The news is only 2% of the population. The other 98% of us, why do the 2% get all the attention? Because that's the drama. The killers, the rapists, the terrorists, the shooters, the criminals, the, what have yous, the smugglers, the traffickers. The drama. More drama for your mama. That gets all the attention, okay? That's more exciting. That's more sexy, isn't it? I don't think so. The other 90, that the top 2%, the bottom 2% is what gets really the spotlight, gets all the attention. The other 98% of us, we just want to do our thing. We just want to take care of ourselves and our family and do the best that we can. That's all we want to do. That's all we want to do. The real university is outside that classroom. It's outside that box. And I want to give you a couple of tools. The number one tool, the main tool, you've got to pay attention. You've got to pay attention every single minute, every single second. Everybody you know, you yourself, you're going to die. As soon as you're born in this world, you're old enough to leave it. It can happen any second. It can happen. Look at what happened. Look at what happened to this tragedy with was it the Colombian soccer team? I can't remember. No, not Colombian soccer team. I think it was the Colombian soccer team. I can't remember exactly, or Chilean. But anyway, some South American soccer team that just crashed tragically. Young men, beautiful men. 1 minute they're high-fiving each other, excited about the match, excited about their lives. Young men have everything going for them. 1 second they're as happy as can be. The next second, hasta la pasta. It's over. Goose egg. Bye. It can happen to any one of us, everybody. Nez Nation, please heed this call. It can happen to everybody. It can happen to any one of us. You've got to pay attention. You've got to pay attention. You've got to ask yourself, who are you surrounding yourself with? You got to ask yourself, is what I'm doing productive for what I want? You got to ask yourself, am I spending my time intelligently? Am I doing what I should be doing? Who am I giving all my attention to? Don't ever forget, who you give attention to, you give power to. Okay? Don't ever forget that. That's your number one sovereignty. I hate to break it to you, young people. I hate to break it to young people. People my age and post know what this is all about. They know what I'm about to say right now. True and true, deep in the core of the core, 10x. But young people, I hate to break it to you. You don't have a lot of control in this life. I hate to break it to you. You don't have a lot of control in this life. But the number one thing that is your sovereignty, that is your kingdom, that is absolutely in your control, is what you give attention to. You decide what you give attention to. You give attention to negative people in your life, they have power over you. You give attention to the haters, you give attention to family members, toxic individuals. You give attention, you care so much about what other people think, they have power over you. You give attention to this guy who lives inside here, which is what this show is all about. The eternal doubter, the only thing in the entire universe that stops you from being you is this dude right here. It's not your parents, it's not politicians, it's not Donald Trump, it's not authority figures, it's not professors, it's nobody. It's not the world, it's not injustice. The only thing that stops you from being you is this dude right here. And he always starts with, you can't. That's his favorite phrase. That's his favorite mantra. You can't. You can't do that. There's no way you're going to achieve that. You can't. Too this, too that. Not enough this, not enough that. Too fat, too short, too small, too tall. Not young enough, too old. Too late. Oh, he loves to say too late. It's too late. You're 50, it's too late. I love that one. People saying, gosh, yeah, it'd be really nice to start that online business, or, it'd be really nice to start, kind of getting back in the game and dating again, been divorced for 10 years, but it's too late, I'm too old. How old are you? I'm 54 years old. Are you joking me right now? 54 years old? Do you think that's too old? Are you kidding me? The way medical science is going, the way that technology is advancing, the way that innovation is hyperbolically growing and growing and growing every single day. Look how far we've come literally just in the last 10 years, let alone the last 100 years, right? From the horse and buggy to now. But just in the last 10, 12 years with these devices, with this level of communication, with this level of connectivity, with this level of transparency and interconnectedness, it's insanity. It's never too late. And the way medical science is going, everybody's going to live to be $120, $150. It's never too late. I know people who are in their 80s starting a whole new business. I know people in their 80s who are deciding finally to get back in shape so they can have some time in their 90s that are peaceful and not so, pregnant with aches and pains and ills and pills and chills. It's never too late. This guy loves to convince you that he is. This guy loves to convince you that there's no shot. You got to transcend this, dude. That's what this show is all about, Mindset Live. Because that's the only thing that stops you. Don't get it twisted, okay? I'm not saying your natural intelligence. I'm not saying your natural mind, that you remember people's faces or grow and learn new things, use your intelligence wisely. I'm talking about your psychological mind, the only thing that gets in your way for anything that you want in life, anything that you want to achieve. You have so much power, you got to reclaim your power. The real university happens outside the box. The real university is life. That's the real university. In the words of the great philosopher, Thomas Jefferson's number one influence, John Locke. Thomas Jefferson, our great ambassador, our forefather who wrote the Declaration of Independence, one of his biggest influences, if not his biggest influence, was the great philosopher John Locke. And John Locke said, the greatest teacher is experience. The greatest teacher is experience. Nobody can force it. You can't force it. That's what's wrong with education. It's too forced. Everything's too forced. You can't force it. You can get things cooking, but the rest is up to you. I'm really just a chef. I'm not a professor. I just try my hardest to heat the stove. That's all I try to do. But you got to mix the ingredients. You got to buy the ingredients. You got to cook. I can heat the stove, but you got to cook. That's what anybody who inspires you, that's the best that they can hope to achieve. Just get that stove hot so you can get ready to cook. It's up to you, y'all. It's up to you, Nez Nation. So number one, you got to pay attention because there's lessons abound. There's lessons surrounding you day in and day out. It just matters on your perspective. It matters on how you look at it. It matters on your approach. In the words of Viktor Frankl, the great power of human beings is the ability to choose how one reacts in any given circumstance. What are you feeding inside you? Mindset. It's all about mindsets. That's what this show's all about. You want to see the graphic again? It's kind of cool, right? Here's the graphic. Mindset Live. Oh shit, I fucked up. Mindset Live. There it is. Professor Nez, author, teacher, speaker, preacher, the whole works. It's all about your mindset. That's what it's all about. The real university is outside the box. The real university is life. You have to first pay attention. Every traffic jam, every mosquito bite, every relationship, every Thanksgiving with in-laws, especially the bad stuff. I would say especially the bad stuff. They're all amazing teachers. Just depends on how you look at them. It just depends on how you look at them, Nez Nation. Everything is a teacher. The real university is life. Capital L, little I, capital F, capital E, life. That's the ultimate university. But you have to pay attention. And you have to have a perspective. Just a little twist of your mindset. Instead of why me, okay? Instead of this always happens, instead of that narrative, this story, I never get a break, nothing's ever fair for me, nothing ever works out for me. That's just bogus. That's just crybabyville. That's just wham, wham, wham. That's winos and rhinos. Nobody wants that. Okay, it doesn't do any good. The universe doesn't respond to that. Plus, it's not even healthy. Just on a, I mean, again, being a ninja pragmatist, you have to be a ninja pragmatist. How is this productive for me? Is this level of mindset, is this approach productive for me? When something goes wrong, quote unquote wrong, is this the type of mindset that is helping me achieve what I want to achieve? Is this productive? Is having this why me, woe is me, nothing is fair, shitting on me, nothing ever goes my way, life is unfair, I'm never, never, never. That's this guy again, right? That's the psychological mind, the torturer, the eternal doubter, never stops. The eternal doubter never, you're never going to get rid of the eternal doubter, ever. Okay? You're never going to go. His alarm clock goes off 10 minutes before yours does. And he goes to sleep 20 minutes after you do. He's with you as soon as you wake up. Bam! That alarm clock goes off. Psh, oh, you got all this shit to do today. You didn't prepare. So you're this. I mean, and it's just a constant chatter. You're never going to get rid of him. But you do have absolute sovereignty on how you react to him and how much power you give him and how much you let him dictate. There was a great video that I watched very recently by Tony Robbins. And I really loved what he said. He said, I don't negotiate with my mind. I never negotiate with my mind. Okay? I do what I know I need to do. Be a ninja pragmatist. Okay, Nez Nation? Be a ninja pragmatist. You really just have to be almost scientific about it. Be very objective. Is this productive? You know, this is where self-investigation, this is where emotional intelligence comes in. Is this the truth? Is this what I need right now? Is this helping me right now? Is this going to benefit me in the long term? Am I going to give a shit about this in a couple of years? Forget 5 years. Some people, I used to say, is this going to matter? Probably not. Probably not. The real university is life. The real university is life. You don't need Professor Nez. You don't need anybody. You don't need any class. You don't need any university. If you pay attention to the ultimate, the grand inquisitor, the ultimate instructor, the ultimate teacher, which is life, you'll be right as rain. That's a promise. That's a guarantee. Life will always take care of you. And you just might get the most out of it. You just might enjoy it to the full-fledged max 10x if you pay attention. And if you switch your mindset up, instead of complaining, just tweak it a little bit. Instead of complaining, instead of woe is me, instead of why me, say to yourself, what can I get from this? What can I learn from this? What can I do right now? What am I in control of? What do I need to let go? And what do I need to change? Be really, really ninja pragmatist. You need to be a ninja pragmatist. You have it all within you, Nez Nation. I really wish that, a lot of anxiety. A part of me doesn't wish, but then there's a part of me that does wish, because, all of the fire that I've gone through, all of the hell that I've gone through has really been an amazing, really, it's been the best teacher of all time. It really has. It's really shown me where my true power lies. And that's the point of it all. When I wrote A Conversation with Fear, my last book, it was all from experience. I used a character named after my son who was actually having a conversation with an entity called fear. And the whole book is a dialogue. It's 60 pages of dialogue. 60 pages. It's almost like a play. And that was all from firsthand experience of what I experienced. That all came from the hell of being completely dominated by the eternal doubter. The psychological, torturous mind. You can't. You're never going to be good enough. You're never going to do this. There's no way. You can't achieve. You're not this. You're not that. That dude. It's the only thing that stops you. It's the only thing that stops you. Give this dude the pink slip. Give him his eviction notice. He is not the landlord of your house. You're the landlord. Give him his eviction notice. He came as a house guest. He came as one of those friends that you dread to see. Hey, man, you mind if I, I'm kind of strapped right now. You mind if I just, kind of kick it? Come on, we've been friends for a long time. You mind if I kick it on your couch for a week or so, man? Maybe, okay, 2 days. 2 days, man. Just 2 days. And you finally give in because you're sick of hearing him mumble and complain. 2 days turns to 2 weeks. 2 weeks turns to 2 months. 2 months turns into a year. A year turns into 2 years. Next thing you know, you're sleeping on the couch. He's taking over the master bedroom and he's charging you rent. How did that happen? You weren't paying attention. You weren't aware. You're lost in the cyclical typhoon that is the psychological mind. Most people aren't even aware. Recognition is the first escape. Recognition is the first step out of the flames right there. The greatest university is life. If you can really change the kind of energy, change the kind of approach, change the way that you face all of your demons. And when I say change, I hate that word change. Just tweak it a little bit. Change sounds a little bit too unrealistic. And I'm a ninja pragmatist. Change sounds too bumper stickery. I don't mean to sound like change. Just change yourself. We'll all be good. No. What I mean is, just tweak it a little bit. The next time those demons arise, and they're going to arise, the next time obstacles and pain, remember, pain is inevitable. You cannot be a human being and be devoid of pain. You can't avoid pain in life. It's going to happen. But how you react to it, suffering is a choice. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is a choice. It's how you approach it. That's what makes all the difference. That's how you squash, all right, the juice of that little minor pain turning into this year-long, decade-long suffering. It's all an illusion. It's all in here. It's all in here, Nez Nation. The real university is life. Just tweak it a little bit. Just tweak it a little bit. The next time those things come, and they're going to come, the next time it comes, sometimes it's a fury. It's like this jolt of electricity, and you feel like you're going to just blow up. Sometimes it comes with such ferociousness and velocity, right? I know, believe me, I know. I wouldn't be talking about this if I didn't know. It feels like this is it. This is the end. I'm going to go any second. I'm going to lose my mind. All the worst, darkest nights of the soul terrors start to arise. Boy, he's good. He's the master politician. He's the master salesman. He is the master persuader. He's really, really good. But no matter how good he is, you're a million, billion, trillion times more powerful. You got to reclaim your power. Don't let this dude win. Give him his pink slip. Don't listen to him. He's full of shit. Don't listen to him. So, just tweak it a little bit. The next time those demons arise, first of all, don't fight it. Second of all, okay, look at it with a little bit of investigation, a little inquiry, question it a little bit. Is this productive for me? What does this mean? Is this really true? Is this really something that I need to be paying attention to or not? Just a little investigation and see what happens. Just the recognition alone will start to open up some pathways. And I mean both, in the kind of physical world and both in the, kind of microscopic world and, in neural pathways too, in the neurological world as well. Getting into kind of neuroscience and neuroplasticity, you start to open up whole new chains of new connections and synapses and highways in here that were never there before. You build new roads just by starting to look and tweak a little bit. And then in the long term is where the kind of real change can happen. I'm not here for a quick 10-minute fix. I'm not here for the short term. None of my videos, none of my teachings, I tell my students all the time, 16 weeks is nothing. You're not going to learn writing and communications in 16 weeks or in 1,600 weeks. This is a lifelong gig. This is a lifelong process. This is a huge sequence that literally I think takes an entire lifetime. I mean, even though I've been writing, publishing, I've got 7 books published, I've been teaching for over 12 years. I've been eat, sleep, and breathing writing and communication and storytelling for over 20 years. I still don't consider myself an expert. I don't think that I have it made and I know everything there is to know. No, 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 no. Constantly learning, constantly evolving, constantly changing. So the real university is life. Pay attention. And when it comes, don't fight it. Give it a little bit of inquiry. Ask some probing questions. Ask the tough questions. Be a ninja pragmatist. Be objective about it. How is this benefiting me? If it's not benefiting me, let it go. Let it go. Okay? If you be open, if you truly, truly be open and receptive to the greatest university, which is life, things are just going to open up in your personal life, in your professional life, in your family life, academic life, work life, what have you. The universe will come to your aid. It's a really beautiful thing. There is a harmony. There are patterns and paradigms. Get into the flow. Get into the movement. Get into the groove and watch what happens. It's beautiful. The real university is life, Nez Nation. Taste it. Be open to it. It's constantly trying to shape and mold. It's constantly trying to reveal things to you. But you can't see what's being revealed if you're constantly focused on things that don't benefit you. What are you giving your attention to? Is it worth your attention? Remember, that's your sovereignty. What you give attention to, you give power to. Who are you giving your attention to? The real university is life. I'm open to some questions. We still got a lot of viewers here. Anybody have any questions for Professor Nez? I am all ears right now. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much. Again, I am your host, Professor Nez. This is Mindset Live. This is a show about practical tools that you can implement to end the psychological mind's torture on you and how you can get out of your own way. Anybody have any questions before we go? I'd love to take a few questions, maybe a couple of minutes. I'm starting to see right here. There's somebody here asking a question here right now. Let's see. How long have you been an author? And do you ever get writer's block? That's a great question. So we've got a question right here on, and I've got my desktop here so I can kind of see your questions. And the question just came up right here. How long have you been an author? And do you ever get writer's block? And writer's block is usually connected to the psychological mind as well. It's really just an illusion. You don't have writer's block, okay? You may have a lack of ideas at the moment. You may have a lack of inspiration. You may have a lack of the kind of groove in the moment, which happens a lot, but you can get that back. And what I would say is, I don't believe in writer's block. I believe in lack of effort. I believe in lack of showing up. You just got to show up. You got to do it. You got to fight through it. And the harder that you try to fight through it, it'll come back. The groove, if you've got it in the first place, the groove will come back. Okay? You just got to keep going. You got to be patient. You got to be patient. Not everything's going to be gold. Not every writing day is going to be beautiful. As a matter of fact, the majority of them are quite the contrary. So you got to be open to it, okay? And that has a lot to do with mindsets too. Switch your mindset a little bit. Twist it. Tweak it. I don't want to say change because change is long term, but just tweak it a little bit. Tweak it a little bit. Great question. Just keep working through it. Just keep fighting through it. This too shall pass. Don't ever forget that. That's the greatest advice I can give to anybody, and it doesn't even come from me. As a matter of fact, none of this comes from me. Nothing is original here. I am the last person on earth that claims to be original. I am not original. If anything, I'm just a composite of the trillion billions of things that I've come across in my life. Everything from an ant to, reading Tolstoy, to, relationships and just little itty-bitty innumerable experiences that have shaped and molded me and influenced me. That's all I am. I'm just a composite. I don't claim to be original, not in the least. You've heard all this stuff before. And if it feels familiar, that's because it's the truth. And the truth always feels familiar. It feels like an old friend you haven't seen or heard from in a really long time. And you get this warm glaze in your chest. That's what the truth feels like. That's what familiarity feels like. Fight through that shit. Fight through the writer's block. Just keep working. Keep typing. If it's garbage, so what? It's supposed to be garbage. Keep fighting through that. I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much. Bill678 Texas. Thank you, Bill678 Texas. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. Anybody else have any questions? Great question. Again, please share this out with your followers. Please share this video if you thought it was useful. Somebody might need it. Somebody might hear it. Somebody might be able to benefit from this. If you don't mind, it would mean the world to me. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm going to bring it, Nez Nation. I'm going to bring it as much as I can. I know I haven't been on here in a while. I've been kind of sick for a while, and I've been kind of really, really busy with other, stuff at work. But I'm going to keep bringing it. I promise you I'm going to keep bringing it, and you guys inspire me every day. Thank you so much. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you. Always reach out to me. You can see the icons on my YouTube channel. Hit me up. You can hit up my website. It's professornez.com, www.professornez.com. Again, just really quickly, this has been Mindset Live, a show about practical, real tools that you can implement to end the torture of the psychological mind. I'm your host, Professor Nez, wishing you guys a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I wish you all the best. Pay attention. Be open to the real university. The real university, that which is life. It's always trying to teach. There's a lesson happening every second. There's a lecture happening every second. But nothing will be revealed. Nothing can be gained if you're not paying attention. Love you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you.